Welcome to the Buddhist Centre. It's very convenient, it's just down the road.
A friend of mine who lives also close here, he told me that there is this Buddhist center, so I decided to come to try.
I haven't been for a while actually, for about 6 months, so it's very nice to be back.
We've come because we quite regularly do meditation, so come for a meditation session. Just seems like a good thing to do on a Wednesday evening.
I just find it really relaxing and nice to take a bit of time for myself, quiet time, and it's just something I look forward to.
It helps me to keep in a routine with doing my meditation. It kickstarts me into doing my meditation.
I feel less stressed and I don't know, I feel like I appreciate the moment more.
I come here because my working week is very long, very busy, and it's nice to get away from the kind of hustle and bustle and actually find a little bit of calm within the city.
To be serene as I come, yeah.
By coming here, I get a lot of energy and a lot of ideas from the teachers at the classes, and also energy from being with other people who are practicing and are interested in Buddhism.
I think I experienced Bev as being, calmer and just kind of more centered and focused.
I feel that very simple. I'm much kinder than I used to be before.
When you try and imagine the way I used to think and feel maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I can actually see the transformation in myself and the way I relate to myself and to other people as well.
You make your own stress largely, and Buddhism pointed that out to me quite strongly, and it works. Most of the time it works.
When I was in India, and there is no any facilities or anything and further development, so when I came here, so I get more benefits and more improvement, and especially my personal development.
I was very welcomed, and when I was leaving, the person said, well, see you next week then, and I thought, sure, right, see you next week.
I've been coming up here every Wednesday morning and bringing Jasmine, my youngest daughter, along with me.
Everybody else seemed to know everybody else, and I spent a lot of time in the bookshop, and in fact I was too shy to go to any of the big public classes and went to just courses instead because it was easier for me to handle.
I got involved with the centre about 4 years ago now, maybe more. In fact, with my dear friend Hilary, who is beavering away behind me, we came to the centre on the same day together. Very fearful and sort of.
Mainly coming to lunchtime meditation, and then I got involved in running the creche 2 years ago.
We had a regular Wednesday night class for beginners. I used to come regularly every week, and I was the only black person every week. Occasionally I would bring a friend along, but apart from that I was the only black person every week, and it was just incredibly difficult, and I felt really unwelcome. I just didn't think people were friendly at all. It was very painful.
I was interested in the meditation, not interested in the Buddhism at all. In fact, I was actively disinterested in Buddhism, but I was very actively interested in the meditation. But the more I listened to what Buddhism was about, the more I realised actually that I'd been a Buddhist probably all my life actually, but just didn't know it was called Buddhism.
I went through quite a difficult time and wanted to find answers, and looked at lots of other things, so different religions or philosophy, and then eventually I came to Buddhism. My parents are Buddhists, and it was kind of the last thing I wanted to look at.
It didn't grab me like that, but it was just enough to intrigue me, just enough to keep me coming back. And there we are, and I got hooked sometime later.
Well, I started coming 6 years ago. I was living round the corner, and it was just because of the meditation. And it has changed my life. They keep on telling you that, and it's true. It does change your life.
I started coming to some Buddhism talks on Buddhism, and one thing led to the other. I ended up getting more and more involved, and I really found it's been a positive thing in my life.
I read books, came to meditation classes, and Iris is off now. So, and from just carried on from there. Really went on retreats, got involved in Buddhist businesses, and I suppose the main thing was developing friendships.
I just think it's a great thing to feel, if you want to feel a part of things, to get involved by doing some kind of work.
because then you don't sort of feel like an outsider. You feel like if you want to be involved, you are.
It has felt really natural to get more involved. It hasn't felt like I've dived in. People have said to me, "Oh, you got involved very, very quickly." But once I've had that feeling of finding something, well, it just felt very natural.
I came along just to an introductory class about 12 or 13 years ago, and I've just sort of very steadily got more involved since then. I became a mitra, moved into a community, and then just seen the logical next step, or no, actually it was a real heart response to come and work at the centre.
I was asked to be the chairman. I don't know, I mean, in a sense, I suppose the main thing for me was there was no one else perhaps at the time who could easily do it, and in a way it was an opportunity to give back. I've been involved with the centre since 1984 and living here since 1986, and I've gained so much from it.
It's 27 years ago. I made my way down to the LBC. Fear and trembling that this was the first time I was going to the East End.
Oh yeah.
And the LBC has almost always, well, for most of that time, the LBC has been my home, as it were, my spiritual home.
I can remember from an early age knowing that there ought to be more to life than mortgages and cars and jobs and all the sort of business of life. Particularly because my father died when I was very young, and I couldn't understand how all the adults around me just pretended to carry on with that sort of business of living, as if death wasn't an issue or wasn't going to happen.
I was working for an environmental consultancy. I was enjoying my job, but I couldn't see really the purpose of it. I mean, it was worthwhile doing it, but when it came down to it, it was about making money, making profits, and that feels pretty empty to me.
Having learned to meditate, I kind of decided I didn't want to go on doing quite such a demanding job, so that kind of really led to quite a lot of changes in my life.
When I see more and more every day how my life was earlier and how my life is now, I could only see the benefits from it.
When I first came along, I had a lot of problems. I had children that didn't want to see me anymore. I was really suffering, and now we get on great. My son's a Muslim, and when I go to his house, we talk religion and life and death and the universe.
With the help of meditation and particularly friendship, I've been able to turn around a lot of things in my own life that I think were making me quite unhappy, or certainly I got to a point where I was very unhappy, stuck in all sorts of old habits.
We do these talks of why I'm a Buddhist, and just kind of every now and again kind of sitting down and listening to people talk, you can see the enormous kind of the stories, and how people have actually, really emerged out of the basic matter of their lives, and actually kind of you can see the jewels beginning to kind of, if not shine, at least kind of glitter, sort of thing.